Becoming a professional in your given field is a wonderful thing, but getting there can have its challenges. On this episode of RDH Coast to Coast, Tina and Kim discuss the role of mentorship and its importance in their professional journey, along with some of the characteristics of what makes a great mentor. So friends, it's time to grab your headphones, take a breath, and glean some advice about mentorship. Hey, Kim, happy to see you again today. How are you doing?
Great, Tina. Great to see you as well.
So one of the things that has come up over the time of us doing this is kind of the idea of having mentorship and who are your mentors and how do you get to be where we're at today? And for me, I would say definitely it required having those who have kind of been before me, mentored me along the way to help make this happen. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. Mentorship is something that I wish was stressed to me more when I was in school. Mm-hmm. I think in this profession, it is so important to have mentorship and guidance because really we're alone in that operatory. And if you don't have someone kind of guiding you through, you really can get lost.
You really can. And it is interesting where, as you said, like when you're a student and really your mentors tend to be your teachers during that time frame, right? Because they are the ones who are guiding you. But then as soon as you put the student gown off and you put your official licensed gown on, sometimes it can feel like you're just floating out in the middle of nowhere, not knowing what to do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I felt like I was floating in the middle of nowhere for quite some time.
Sometimes it still feels that way.
Right?
Yeah. So when you made that transition, did you have a strong mentor either before you went into school, after school, during the whole thing, still now? What does that look like for you?
For me, after I graduated, I went back and I worked for my childhood dentist. The dentist I had seen my entire life since I was 3, hired me out of hygiene school. I think he kind of forgot what it's like to have a new grad as an employee, but he did take the time and really help me, perfect my skills or show me what I might be missing, help me really engage with the patient better. Learn more of those soft skills that I hadn't really, gotten used to during school.
Right.
How about you?
Oh gosh. I love my mentor and her and I are great friends today. So my OG mentor, not just with hygiene, but even just in life, was my hygienist. And her name is Kelly Jakes. And she's fairly well known within the dental world, but she was my hygienist. And she had that moment of, working with me, removing the deposit off of my teeth and asking me those questions of what do you want to be when you grow up kind of talk. And so she sparked the idea of dental hygiene and really was kind of blazing the way and being a true guide beside me, shoulder to shoulder of these are the ways that you can get into school. These are some of the schools. There's the pros and cons of an associate versus a bachelor's. And then once I was out, it was, okay, now that you're out, there's more than just being in the operatory. There's ways that you can volunteer and be involved in like the association, be in developing your leadership skills. And to this day, her and I are great friends and we still collaborate together. We're collaborating together on a CE course that we're going to be giving here. And we've turned into true friends where there's some aspects of life where I have more experience so I can guide and help her. And then there's other aspects of life where she has more experience so she can guide and help me. So, I think for me, that's a true aspect of mentorship is when you get to create that tight bond and be there for that person. And when they stumble along and I've had my moments, right, of stumbling when she's helped pick me up and dust me off and say, it's okay. That's part of being a professional. And here we go. So
exactly.
For me, that's the way how I feel about it. Would you say that the doctor that you worked with is similar in that regards?
Yeah. And I will say you're very lucky to have someone like that has walked you every step of the way, right? Since before school. So dental hygiene for me is a second career. I worked in finance first And then I was going back to hygiene school. So when I did that, I reached out to my hygienist as well. And she told me why she loved the profession. And she really guided me through the school process. And then when I went back to work in the office, she did help me along the way as well. The doctor that I worked for was great, and he really did mentor me. It wasn't always, the best mentorship, but it did help me. I wouldn't be where I am today without that guidance that I
Right.
got from the doctor.
So you said it wasn't necessarily the best mentorship. What would you say is something that are qualities of an excellent mentor?
I think, taking time to show you where you're excelling and where you still need work. Nobody is going to be the best hygienist all the time throughout their entire career. So someone that's willing to take the time with you, sit down, let's work on this. This is, you're excelling here, but let's kind of focus on this area. You never want to be embarrassed in front of a patient. You never want to be called out in front of a patient. I unfortunately dealt with that a lot as a new grad. So it's when and where is the feedback going to come, and then coming up with an action plan of how you're gonna where you're gonna go from there.
Yeah, I agree, and it sounds like in something that you said sparked with me, and I'm gonna say it in a little bit different way, and maybe that will spark with you, is that a great mentor will be a safe space where you can have your learning opportunities, right? Your bumps and your bruises along the way, and they'll create that safe space for you to say, hey, it's okay. We took the training wheels off and you stumbled, but I was here to help you and guide you and help dust you off. And maybe even call you out sometimes, like, hey, that might not have been the wisest decision to make. What are your strategies to correct that? But having that safe space, I think, is a true, wonderful characteristic of a great mentor.
I couldn't agree more, because you really are going to have those bumps and bruises, right? And sometimes you need that safe space and that same safe person that's going to say, you know what? I've been there.
Yeah.
You're going to get through it, and I'm here to help, and I'm not going to kick you when you're down.
Right. Right. And so another great aspect then is, as you just said, you're like, I've been there, is that they've blazed that trail, and they are a few steps ahead of you, being able to see this is the journey. Be aware there might be some rocks and pitfalls along here, and be able to help guide you to maybe avoid some of those. Or if you find some new ones, be able to say, be with you, be like, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah. And I think something else to stress too is, if you are feeling isolated or alone, or that you don't have that mentorship, to seek it out, because it will help you, and you will grow when you have that safe space to reach out to.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that mentorship can happen in a lot of different ways. It could definitely happen from afar as well, right? It doesn't have to be as much of an intimate relationship like I have with Kelly, and like you have with that doctor that you first started working with. It could be someone from a distance, maybe, that you admire from afar, or have watched them grow and see their process. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Kim, but is there anybody that you can think of that you have seen and watched from afar and been inspired, and their actions have helped guide and mentor you?
Oh, of course. There's so many people out there. Amanda Hill is one of them.
Yeah.
I love listening to her speak, and I love reading what she has to write, and her enthusiasm behind the profession. And those people that you seek out that do have that enthusiasm are what kind of keep you going. Right. Because we all have those days where we're like, am I heading in the right direction? And sometimes, hearing those positive influences really do make a difference. How about you, Tina?
Oh gosh, yeah. Like the list, as you said, is endless. Like Anne Bottrell, she recently passed away, but what a trailblazer for the profession of dental hygiene, right? All of the leadership that she brought to the table, just in regards to leadership and the scope of practice for hygiene. Katrina Sanders, right? What a great person to look at as far as entrepreneurship and being able to excel in the clinical space and what you're doing in regards to there. I would say is another great person to be like, you can see from afar and go, wow, look at the future that's ahead. And then, like what you're doing, I think that the things that you're doing outside of the school system and outside of Dental Post, where you're going out and reaching to the graduates that are in that transition phase of, okay, took off the student gown, putting on their professional gown, that being able to have that relationship and seeing what you're doing on your social media from afar, to have that, okay, it's okay, I can lift my chin up and have that indirect mentorship in regards to there.
Nice.
So
Well, thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely. Well, I think, I give you kudos and shout outs, because I think what you're doing is really helping a lot of young professionals in making that change and that transition. And that can be hard. And sometimes, our social media influencers can be that type of mentor as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And like I said, I walked that walk of feeling lost. So if I can just help one person, it makes my day.
Yay. Good. Anything else, Kim, as far as like that, with as far as mentors, or maybe some parting thoughts for those seeking out a mentor, of what to look for, maybe some pitfalls to be aware of? What are your thoughts on that?
I would just say, if you are seeking mentorship, or you are looking for, the next step in your career, or you're looking for a change, reach out to those that are doing what you want to be doing, because those of us that love it and are passionate about it will be willing to help you. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone that you might think, isn't going to respond, because chances are they will, and it could be a game changer for you. Don't let fear get in the way.
Yeah, that big fear thing, right?
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Yeah, and I would also say that, be involved if you're wanting somebody that's maybe a little bit closer to you, right? That where you could have a face-to-face interaction, is be involved in your local hygiene events. Go to a study club, go to association meeting, go to different offices, seek out maybe hygienists within your office that you can create a connection with, and just say, hey, can I take you out for coffee and just chat?
Yeah.
And I know for me, I've had people do that with me, that it's just really nice, and it's fun to be able to share that information and have that collegiate aspect back and forth. So that would be one of my ways of suggesting.
Yeah, I think that's great, because everybody loves connection. So
yes,
at least I do.
Good. As you just said, everybody loves connection. And as always, Kim, I love my connection time with you and being able to learn and grow from your thoughts and wisdom.
Right back at you. Like, you said it perfectly.
Thank you. All right, friends, we'll see you next time. Thank you to our sponsor, Dental Post, the nation's largest dental job board. Be sure to check them out for different types of employment resources. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. And make sure you follow Tina and Kim on all the different social medias to learn other tips and tricks related to dentistry. Until next time, have a great day.